In 2026, there are plenty of AI tools you can ignore, but Codex isn't one of them. In this video, I'll walk you through everything from the fundamentals to real-world use cases. By the end, you'll be ready to start using Codex immediately. So let's begin with the basics. What is Codex? The easiest way to understand Codex is to think of it as an AI coding agent. Unlike ChatGPT or Gemini, which mainly explain and answer questions, Codex actually gets the work done. Think of ChatGPT as a teacher, but Codex as an employee. You give it a task and it chooses the right tools, executes the work, and keeps going until it's finished. By the way, everything you're seeing in this video was built with Codex through code. If you're how I made it, I am Hamza. Please hit that subscribe button and I'll show you later in this video. The Codex interface is simple to navigate. On the left, you'll see your chats, search, plugins, and scheduled tasks. On the right is where you interact with Codex, either within a project or in a regular chat. Let's create a new project. Before we begin, there are a few settings to configure. Open the Plugins tab to find integrations like Computer Use, Chrome, Gmail, and Figma. Install the ones that match your workflow. If you're making videos, I highly recommend Remotion and Hyperframe. We'll use both later. Go back to your project. Click the plus button to choose between Plan Mode and Goal Mode. Plan Mode breaks down your task before execution, while Goal Mode focuses on the final result and keeps working until it's complete. For most tasks, I'd recommend Plan Mode. Next, enable the plugin you'll need. For this demo, I'll use Hyperframe for video generation. Now let's check permissions. You can choose default, auto review, or full access. If you're new to Codex, I'd recommend default. For the model, I'm using GPT 5.5. It's the most capable option, but it consumes tokens more quickly. Before we continue, there's one setting you shouldn't miss. Open Settings. Under General, turn on all 3 permission options. Then set follow-up behavior to guided so you can jump into ongoing tasks without waiting for them to finish. Finally, let's look at personalization. Think of it as Codex's master instruction file. Once it's configured, every new conversation automatically follows those settings. Alright, let's look at what I believe is one of the most useful ways to use Codex. Imagine you're not at your computer, but then a new idea comes to mind or you realize there's something you forgot to ask Codex to do. Instead of waiting until you're back at your computer, just open ChatGPT, return to your active Codex session, and send a new instruction directly from your phone. You can check the progress, see what Codex has completed, approve actions when necessary, respond to follow-up questions, and even redirect the task if needed, all from your phone without being at your computer. Meanwhile, your Mac continues working in the background. By the time you're back, the task is either finished or much closer to completion. Now you might be wondering how I created the animation from the start of this video. I didn't use Kling or Seedance. Instead, I had Codex generate the HTML first, then render it into an animation. Both Hyperframe and Remotion are video frameworks built around code. Once Codex can access these tools, you only need to describe your scene in plain English. It writes the code and generates the animation automatically. The biggest advantage is control. Every font, color, and transition can be customized exactly how you want. It's much more precise than traditional AI video generators. Here's a tip most people miss. Codex uses a rolling 5-hour usage window. Your timer starts the moment you send your first message. Let's say you normally work from 9 to 11 a.m., then 2 to 6 p.m.
If your first message is sent at 9 a.m., your quota won't reset until 2 p.m. Use it again, and the next refresh comes at 7 p.m., giving you only 2 reset windows during the workday. But if you send a quick message at 6 a.m. and another at 11 a.m., you'll unlock 3 refresh windows instead, which fits a typical work schedule much better. And if your routine is fairly consistent, you can even ask Codex to create a scheduled task that sends those messages automatically each day. Of course, scheduled tasks can do much more than that. For example, you can have Codex deliver a daily briefing automatically. It's a simple trick, but it can make a much bigger difference than you'd expect.
That's everything you need to get started with Codex. We've covered the basics, useful workflows, and some practical tips, including a handy trick for managing your quota. If you found any other great use cases, let me know in the comments. I'm Hamza. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!